As of late, the question I've been getting the most is, how or why is your butt so big? And my immediate reply is, I get it from my mom. Normally, they get to one of two responses. Either they laugh or they look at me with curiosity because they don't know if I'm joking or not. Even though genetics can play a factor, today I'm going to give you my favorite exercises to grow your glutes. Whether you are looking to build strength, improve performance, or simply look better in jeans, these exercises will give you the butt that you are looking for. The first exercise I'm going to talk to you about is one that we all know and love very well to hit the glutes, and that is hip thrust. Before performing the hip thrust, you want to make sure that you are set up to maximize your glute growth. If your feet are too far away from the bench, you're going to feel the exercise more in your hamstrings, but if your feet are too close to the bench, then you're going to feel it more in your quads. At the top of the movement, you want to make sure your shins are perpendicular to the floor. Personally, I set my feet up as if I'm going to squat. So I set my feet about shoulder width apart and get as close to the 90-degree mark at the top of the movement as I possibly can. Now I'm going to talk to you about Bulgarian split squats. Feet placement is also important when it comes to Bulgarian split squats, but it also plays a role in your balance. I recommend doing your first reps or sets without any weight and then adding weight as your balance progressively gets better. With the Bulgarian split squats, you want to sit on the bench, extend your legs straight out, and use that foot placement for the exercise that you're going to perform. With that being said, you get pretty consistent with your feet placement, so that way you're not hitting the muscle differently every time you perform the movement. Another thing to help with balance is setting your feet up as if you're squatting, feet shoulder width apart. A way that I like to think about it is setting your feet up as train tracks, so that way you get more torque or less torque one way or the other, instead of a clothesline where you're lined up and it's easier to teeter-totter. The next exercise I'm going to talk to you about is step-ups. Unlike the last two, foot placement isn't as important, but it still plays a major factor in the exercise itself. You can also use different heights when it comes to performing a step-up. Find a height that feels comfortable for you and go from there. While performing a step-up, you want to make sure that you are just tapping your foot on the floor and not pushing off with the leg that is not elevated on the surface. This is also a great exercise to work the quads. So similar to Bulgarian split squats, slightly lean forward to get a better stretch in the glutes. The last two exercises that I'm going to talk about can be controversial when it comes to hitting the glutes, but they are compound movements, meaning they hit more than one muscle group at a time. The exercises that I'm referring to are back squats and deadlifts. First, let's talk about back squats. Back squats are commonly known for hitting the quad, but they also work the glutes. When performing the back squat, you want to make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart and that you can at least go parallel to the floor while your feet remain flat on the floor. If you are not able to comfortably get into a parallel position with your feet still on the floor, try elevating your heels with weighted plates or anything that can elevate your heels. You can also use squat shoes. I recommend squat shoes because they have a flatter platform base, unlike tennis shoes that are squishy and you can tend to rock back and forth with those. Another thing you can do is work ankle mobility. As a warm-up, I like to get into a deep squat, also known as a frog squat, and slightly sway from one leg to the other to loosen up my ankles and activate my tibialis. Now, let's talk about the other controversial exercise, the deadlift. The deadlift's main focus is hamstrings. The reason to commission the deadlift is a great exercise for glutes is because of the hinge in the hips when lowering the weight. A lot of people like to drop the weight from the top position of the deadlift, but during the decline of the deadlift is where you're going to get most of the strength on the muscle. And there you go. Top 5 glute exercises that sculpt the buns of steel that you see on me today. Now, there's a lot more exercises that can help you grow your glutes, but these are some of my favorites, so give them a try and let me know how they work out for you. And feel free to drop some comments down below and let me know your favorite. Always remember, keep grinding.